In 2001, US Army missed the golden opportunity to capture or kill the mastermind of 9/11, Osama Bin Laden. A missed opportunity to get Bin Laden set the stage for 20 years of frustrating, painful war in Afghanistan. So how did Osama Bin Laden fool the most powerful armed force in history? Let's find out. Following the September 11 attacks, US military planners began looking for targets in Afghanistan. Their primary target, Osama Bin Laden, had been known and monitored by US intelligence agencies for several years before the attacks and wanted by the FBI since 1998. US intelligence officials were confident Bin Laden and much of Al-Qaeda were in Afghanistan under the protection of Afghanistan's Taliban government, who refused to hand over Bin Laden to the United States for prosecution. Subsequently, the invasion of Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom, began on 7 October 2001. The goals of the operation were capturing or killing Osama Bin Laden and to eliminate Al-Qaeda's haven in the country. By November 14, CIA was receiving a stream of intelligence reports from the Northern Alliance that the Al-Qaeda leader was in Tora Bora in eastern Afghanistan, giving pep talks to an ever-growing caravan of fighters. Located among the 13,000-foot high peaks of the Spin Ghor Range, Tora Bora served as a Mujahideen base during the war against the Soviets in the 1980s. It was regarded as the Mujahideen's best defended stronghold, and Osama Bin Laden helped to build it. Pentagon ordered a top-secret team of American commandos into Afghanistan with a single order: kill Osama Bin Laden. The only way to get to Tora Bora was by truck. Once the team approached the foot of the mountains, they took over a schoolhouse as a base. 4 men headed into the mountains, accompanied by 10 Afghans. It was the most rugged terrain many had ever experienced. When they reached an outcrop and saw a large group of up to about 900 Al-Qaeda figures, the battle for Tora Bora began. The commander back at base, Gary Bernstein, issued orders to open fire. The team called in airstrikes over the next 56 hours. We threw everything at him. I didn't even know we had that many B-52 or B-1s. Bernstein asked for 800 US Rangers to be placed between Bin Laden and the border, or to enter the mountains from the Pakistani side. The request was denied. On December 9, a C-130 cargo plane dropped the 15,000-pound bomb known as Dicey Cutter on the Tora Bora complex. The weapon had not been used since Vietnam, and there were early fears that its impact had not been as great as expected. But later reports confirmed that the bomb struck with massive force. A captured Al-Qaeda fighter later told American interrogators that men deep in caves had been vaporized in what he called a hideous explosion. Most of the Tora Bora complex was abandoned, and many of the caves and tunnels were buried in debris. Only about 20 stragglers were taken prisoner. Bin Laden was nowhere to be found. 2 days later, Fury and his Delta Force colleagues left Tora Bora, hoping that someone would eventually find Bin Laden buried in one of the caves. There was no body because Bin Laden did not die at Tora Bora. Later US intelligence reports said that he and a contingent of bodyguards departed Tora Bora on December 16 with help from local Afghans who had been paid in advance. The group made its way on foot and horseback across the mountain passes and into Pakistan without encountering any resistance. The advantages that the Al-Qaeda fighters had at Tora Bora were that they were highly mobile, they knew the terrain, and they had support from the local population. On an audio tape that aired on Al Jazeera on February 11, 2003, Osama Bin Laden said, "Now I'm gonna tell you a part of that great battle of Tora Bora, so that I will prove to you how cowardly the Americans are. We were only 300 fighters. We had already dug 100 trenches, spread out in a space that didn't exceed 1 square mile. On the morning of the 17th of Ramadan, very heavy bombing started, especially after the American leadership made sure that some of the leadership of Al-Qaeda were in Tora Bora, including myself and the Mujahid brother, Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri. The bombing became around the clock. Not a second would pass without a fighter plane passing over our heads day and night. American forces were bombing us by smart bombs that weigh thousands of pounds and bombs that penetrate caves. The ultimate fault for the failure to capture Bin Laden lies not in the US effort, but in the US strategy. The vast array of American military power, from sniper teams to the most mobile divisions of the Marine Corps and the Army, was kept on the sidelines. Instead, the US command chose to rely on airstrikes and untrained Afghan militias to attack Bin Laden. Tora Bora was just a case of military incompetence. They had plenty of time, they had the people, they had the information. The inability of the United States to capture or kill Osama Bin Laden and many of his top deputies at Tora Bora is widely recognized as one of the most significant missed opportunities of America's struggle with Al-Qaeda.